To Ely. This is a show about you, your life, and the vibrancy you want. Join us for daily motivation, wise women's tips, and more as we collectively gather together and move the needle in our lives, heart, mind, body, and soul. Now, here is your host, Leanne Ely, and The Daily Dish.
And The Daily Dish. I can't help myself. I shouldn't be a mocker, but here I am mocking. Oh my goodness. It's Wise Women's Wednesday, and I'm delighted to see already we've got Noreen, Flynn, Shauna, Nancy, Jeanette, Helen in the house. And of course, Amber and Jenny are here. Jackie's here. Margot's here. Y'all just come on down, don't you? Y'all come on down when it's time. I love that. Thanks so much for showing up. It makes my day. Kathy, I'm happy you're here too. We have a good quote of the week. It is this one. It is in the moment of decision that your destiny is shaped. Now, thank you so much for saying that, Tony Robbins, because, I oftentimes think that we do not take our decisions very seriously. Choices are one thing, decisions are another thing entirely. They can be used interchangeably, but when we start making good decisions for our lives, that's when the needle moves. Big time. Hi, Doris, Denise, Jocelyn. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So we are talking this week, we're talking about how we argue for our limitations, right? And the power of limitations in a bad way, right? Let's just make sure that we're clear on that we give our limitations such power that we're convinced, we believe the lie that they tell us, and we therefore go a direction that maybe we should reconsider, right? I don't know about you, but I know it, to heaven's sakes, I do that. Hi, Diane and Francesca. I'm glad you're here. A quote, even though we have our quote of the day, I found this quote that I just absolutely lit me up. And it's from a friend of mine, too, who I greatly admire. His name's Jim Quick. He's written a book called Limitless. And he's an expert on brains. He's met everybody in the world that you can imagine. He's taken pictures with everyone in the world that you can imagine. And he teaches people about the neuroplasticity of the brain and how you are a better learner than you think. He speed reads. He does all kinds of stuff. And it's just absolutely amazing. Joanne and Lucy are here too. I'm glad to see that. Alice, nice to see you. So anyway, this is a quote that he said, and it really goes along with what we're talking about this week. If you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. But if you argue for your possibilities, you get to create them. And I really want to talk about that because, in this place of being stuck in our limitations, there is a way to shift the whole narrative and the whole focus so that we can be those possibility thinkers. Hi, Linda, Nancy. Lovely, lovely. There's my girl, Sarah. So before we jump into all of this, first of all, you're seeing a little thing right underneath me. Do you see this? Where it says text join 855-960-3720. Put that in your phone. And then in the message, put the word join. When you do that, you're going to get signed up for our text message stuff, which I'm telling you, it's going to be cool. You're not going to want to miss out on that. Hi, Tanya. Nice to have you here. Angie's here too. And there's Susan. My word. I mean, everybody's here. It's a party. Brenda just walked in. Speaking of parties, tomorrow is the Bonanza. Who's ready? Pinkies up. If you've been to our galas, you know what a blast they are. This time we're doing it with Western gear. Sarah, I've heard nothing about your outfits. I'm disappointed. I sure hope that you're going to ride 'em cowboy on in. I think Flynn has got a hat. She's already decorated it and blinged it out. It's absolutely incredible. Joanne's ready. Yes, look at here come all my girls. Yes, look at all these pinkies flying up like crazy. I am so excited about this. And listen, so we'll have the Bonanza will be going on Thursday and Friday, a regular time, just like right here doing it now. It won't be the regular show. It'll be the Bonanza. Then in the evenings at 7 p.m., that's when the gloves come off, right? This is when we get back. Let's chat. Oh Oh my goodness. I should put some whiskey in this cup, I'm telling you. Oh my goodness. Flynn's birthday too. Happy birthday, Flynn. Oh my, am I pink? I think I just blushed. I think I just blushed my blush right off. Sarah, my word. What have you been doing with yourself, girlfriend? All right, so Sarah's going to be showing up with backless chaps. I don't know. Maybe that's something you want to see. If you go to savingdinner.com/bonanza, the signups for Thursday night and Friday night are there. You need that because that's how you get your seat. It's just like any other webinar we've ever done. You got to do that. We do it on Crowdcast. Dress in your best Western gear because you might get a chance to come on screen and we're going to yeehaw and yippee yahoo it up. I can't wait. We're so ready here. I can't even tell you. We've been working our little fingers to the bone, getting ready for it. And we're so excited. Can I just tell you? So that's basically the big thing that we have coming on. And I don't know, there might be something new coming down the pike like this. Oh, what was that? I don't know. Just a little something you're not supposed to be seeing yet. Sarah, did you like that? I did it for you. Anyway, today is Wise Women's Wednesday. And Flynn, don't you love it that today is Wise Women's Wednesday and it's your birthday? I do. I think that kind of suits and it fits. And Carla's here too. In Hawaii, of course. So today I'm going to be talking about, and I think I gave you everything that you need to know. Oh, Thanksgiving menus if you need them. savingdinner.com/Thanksgiving. All the things that you need. Oh, it's tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Flynn. We're lighting you up. We're going to light you up anyway. Helen got her inner circle package today. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Anyway, Flynn's birthday's tomorrow, and she's going to be partying it up with us and listen, if that tells you something, she wants to party with us. I was going to say the gala, but it's a bonanza gala. So there it is. Ha 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 ha. The text blocked it. Okay, there it is. Wah 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 wah. I'm sorry, I have to do it. I've got a whole desk full of stuff you haven't seen yet. Wait till you see it. All of the social media that you need to see. I mean, just go anywhere, put in Saving Dinner, you'll find us. We're there, everything. I don't do Twitter or any of those other off-brand weird stuff, but we do TikTok, we do Instagram. There you go. And that's all you need to know. I knew, Sarah, you will die. When I tell you about all of this, not only do we have new things that we're going to introduce, I'm going to tell you why. Because that's the best part, isn't it? I like finding out all these things. It's so much fun, because we have a hand in making this stuff happen. It's everything. So today we're going to be talking about self-love. And I think this is such an important topic. I want to get right out of the gate with it because, it's a hard topic. For me, I don't know if I can do this. Sarah, if you say backless chaps one more time, I might lose it. Oh, my word. Okay. I was in a church a long, long time ago. And one of the most messed up things they told me was that loving yourself is a sin. It's a sin. And as a matter of fact, I was like, I remember how messed up that made me. And I just kept thinking about, if I think about myself, then I'm being sinful and all of this. And I had this back and forth thing. This is when my kids were little too. And, it made for being a very sacrificial mother, if you know what I mean. So I think that's one of the most messed up things that's in there. I mean, if you've read the Bible, you know that there's some stuff in there that men are actually told in Ephesians, they're told to love their wives as they love themselves. What do you think of that? And Jesus said that a few times to love others as we love ourselves. And the thing that I went to a website trying to find this weird teaching because I was taught that, and I found one. And I'm going to pull some of the stuff that this was said to it. And, I will just put this right up front to anybody who's like, well, I go to a church and this is what they preach. And I think that's right. I just disagree with you. Sorry. But, we don't have to We don't have to agree 100% of the time. I can just tell you that this is how I feel about it, and I think it's messed up, and I think it's one of the reasons why there's a lot of people really battling with their faith today and with how they feel about themselves. And I will tell you, one of the things that I did just right before the show, and it was tough. I had a girlfriend whose son died from suicide, and I have a girlfriend whose husband died from suicide. And these are people that I knew, not just that I heard of. I knew them. And if you come and you tell me, that we love ourselves too much, which is what I was taught, I'm going to say that isn't love right there. This is a lot. That's delusional. And as a matter of fact, what they said in this, it just really bums me out. It makes me want, I'm right now, I'm in the place of, I want to cry and I want to get really bloody mad, because how many people have I known? And just I'm a nutritionist, for heaven's sakes, but in the counseling and the coaching that I've done, talking to women who haven't loved themselves, who haven't had this opportunity to be in a safe place with the feeling of knowing who they are, is the result of a lot of this stuff, And I'm not going to get all feminist with you and start going, it's the patriarchy, it's the this, it's the that. But there is a little, there's a little something in there. There is a little dab of this and a little dab of that. And there is a little bit of a cultural weird business and religious fill in the blank. There's a lot of that. But the fact of the matter is that we are fearfully and wonderfully made on purpose and for purpose. And what's not to love? What's not to love? And yet, this one dude's Bible study group that he has online says it's delusional to love yourself. I'm pulling this right from his site. It's delusional to love yourself, and what real Christianity teaches is that self-sacrifice is what's in order, because we don't have to learn how to love ourselves. That's a given. He calls loving ourselves this is a quote, a sanitized version of selfishness. Are you watching the steam come off of me right now? And he says we need to learn to die to ourselves in this age of self-love. So where do we go with all of that? And I think of this when I read stuff like this, and I think about the two suicides that I intimately knew of. Those two, the young man and the husband of my friend, this was not because they were suffering from too much self-love. This is because they had a lack of self-love. And it's idiots like this who get up in pulpits and bonk people and take Bible verses out of context and start beating them up. That's the reason we have this kind of garbage. We live in a time and in an era where we need to learn how to love ourselves in the right and proper way. And I'm not making a case for narcissism, by the way, at all. And we're going to talk about what all of that is. I just want to get us to the place that we can start understanding that part of this whole thing of getting past our limitations means that we are not only accepting of ourselves, not only starting in the place of acceptance, but starting in the place of love, starting in the place of loving ourselves and giving ourselves to God, who gave himself to us. And it is a reflection of his love for us when we love ourselves. That's what I believe. And I believe that you're going to find that in scripture. Yeah, in order to follow the command in Leviticus 19 to love our neighbor as ourselves, we must first love ourselves. It's absolutely. What is loving anyway, except, well, we know what loving is, loving actions, loving this, but it's putting value and respecting someone. That's what it is. Yes, and it is quoted again with Jesus in Matthew and in all the Gospels, by the way. I believe it's in every single one of the Gospels. This is the thing that we need to be looking at. as women who have maybe suffered under some kind of scriptural, dude who's decided to tell you, we live in this world of self-love. Come on, okay? In sanitized selfishness. First of all, that's not what self-love is. It is not sanitized love, sanitized version of selfishness. And not everyone loves themselves. I know this for a fact, and I have been in those shoes. And when I finally got to the place of understanding I need to love myself before I have the capacity and the ability to love others, then it was a light bulb moment, and it just absolutely, it absolutely opened my eyes like nothing else. So we're going to talk about this right now. If we are here on purpose and for purpose, if we are the creation of God himself, and he knows the exact numbers of hairs on our heads, if we're fearfully and wonderfully made, what's not to love? Like I said, what's not to love? Self-love is a state of appreciation. This is how psychologists define self-love, which I think is interesting. It's merely a state of appreciation and having a high regard for our own well-being and happiness. It's not sacrificing ourselves to please others. And at the very core of self-love is a solid grip on mental health. That's what it is. Look at Sarah's throwing down the Bible verses. Boom. Right? That's what we need to be hearing. And that's what I believe too. I mean, it's one thing to accept yourself, but it's another thing to love yourself. Love yourself. I'm not talking about just a bunch of self-care and taking an Epsom salt bath and eating well. That's a part of it. I'm talking about some other stuff. Because when we start to think this way, that we love ourselves, and we look in the mirror and we stop the dialogue, the nasty dialogue, we start saying lovely things about ourselves. Remember, we have a supercomputer brain. It picks up everything that we say, and it's like, okay, let me make it happen for you. Remember, that reticular activating system is looking for evidence to support the very things that we think and that we say. How important those words are, and how important it is that we can, that we park our cars in the right garage. Yesterday, I hope you picked up that one little tidbit that I gave you. When you hear yourself saying, well, I'm just not creative, because we talked about that, add the word yet, because that opens the door to possibilities. And we want to be constantly opening the door to possibilities, don't we? I do. I don't believe, that I need to accept smallness and limitation. I need to look for, what is the next thing? What is the next thing that's on the horizon? That's how I look at it. Mark and I were talking about that last night. What's the next thing for us? We've got a big date coming up next weekend, and we've got a lot of things on our plates. We're talking about our future and how things are just kind of unfolding, and our kids are all coming, and everybody's excited, and we just kind of want to talk to them about what's next and what our lives are about. And you know what? I will tell you that we get into that position of that when you start to believe in what your life has, that your life has something to offer you next. And that's when you love yourself. And that's when you accept yourself. The acceptance comes first. The love just comes right along behind it. And you know what I've noticed? I've noticed these 4 things. When we start to love ourselves, we're kinder. Not only are we kinder to ourselves, but we're kinder to others as a result, because the kindness starts to overflow. The kindness starts to overflow, and overflowing kindness spills out. You can't contain it, So think about that one, and think about, am I kind in all situations? Not just when it's convenient and easy, but am I kind when, you've got a slow checkout gal? Am I kind when the guy in front of me is taking 18 years to get his gas? Am I kind standing in line? Am I kind when somebody is cross with me? It's a good test. And I think we I have a thing that I do in my head when something like this comes along and I'm starting to get a little peeved, and I say to myself, this is a test. Am I going to be kind? What is my reaction going to be? I remember one time I was in a store and this woman took forever. And by the time I got up there, I was ready to lose my mind. It was during a Christmas thing or whatever. This poor little gal, it was a Target. And this poor little gal, she just looked at me. And after this guy had given her so much grief and everything, she just looked at me and I was ready to, whatever, get into it. And I just said, you know what? It's going to be okay. And tears started running down her face. I did another time I was in the parking lot and this poor mom looked like she was losing. I've shared this story before. And I looked over at her and I said, you're doing a good job, Mama. And she just looked over at me, tears coming down her face. Why can't we do that for each other? Why can't we be those kind of women? Well, I will tell you this, that if you love yourself, you will be that kind of woman, because that kindness you can't contain. Kindness that can't be contained. What a concept. Number 2, we start to accept ourselves all the way. We accept one little thing here. We accept one little thing here. We don't accept ourselves. Got it? 2 different words. We accept, we love it up. We accept some more. We love that up some more. We don't say, well, I can't. It's impossible for me. It's blah, blah, blah. And have you noticed too that you can't be cranky and cantankerous and depressed even if you have gratitude every single day? Have you noticed that? Have you noticed how the expansion of your heart has everything to do with how much gratitude that you have? You can feel it grow. I'm convinced you can feel it grow. So that's part of accepting ourselves too, because we have gratitude. I mean, and I double dog dare you, have gratitude. I want you to find the worst flaw you have on your body, look at it in the mirror and have some gratitude for it. I dare you. Those are the feet that walk the floors with a cranky, crying baby at 3:00 in the morning that was sick. Those are the legs that held you up. Those were the breasts that fed your baby. Those, the things that you take down are the very, very thing that gave life to someone else. Think about that. Number 3, we respect ourselves. It's a big one for women because we find ourselves, getting all wrapped up with this idea of respect. Respect maybe was lauded over us as younger. I don't know. But how about this? We respect ourselves by showing up. We respect ourselves with the food that we eat. We are better than the garbage that you drive through for. We are better than that. We're better than junk food. We're better than drinking a bunch of Cokes and all of that. We are better than that. And that doesn't mean that you are better and you're, better than all the rest. We're not talking narcissism here. We're talking self-love. Self-love shows up in the way you care for yourself. Self-love shows up in how you deem your relationships. I make it a point, and I've shared this before with my relationship with Mark and my relationship with my children, to not be so quiet about it and make sure that appreciation is communicated as much as I possibly can. Absolutely every single day with Mark, but certainly with a text with my children, or getting together with my daughter, or doing all of these things, these little things, because this is how I respect myself too. And I also put myself in a better position, don't I, when I'm loving completely and appreciating greatly. I see that, and I think it's a self-perpetuating thing. And, I have good relationships there. Who knew? Number 4 is we nurture ourselves. And again, like I said, it's not just in the self-care things, those fit in, but it's in the practices that bring us to wholeness. Meditation, prayer, reading, journaling. These practices are nurturing, and they're symptoms of self-love. And this is how we do this, because if we are concerned at all with our self-growth, then we're going to love ourselves enough that we will spend the time to journal. We will spend the time to meditate. And I've gotten to the point now where I'm meditating twice a day. Who knew? Who knew? First thing in the morning and when I go to bed at night, And interesting, I just read a study. This is the best time to meditate because this is the best time that you connect with your subconscious. So that's wonderful. And the other thing is when we love ourselves, we're less likely to be self-critical. We're not going to slam ourselves and put ourselves down like maybe we did once upon a time. I was the worst with that. And I thought it was funny. And it's not. It's not. Can you guys still see me? It says we lost power, but we'll be right back. Okay. And number 2 is to be a people pleaser. I don't know if can you see me? Lucy says, yes, she can see me. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep going. I saw that thing that says we should be right back. Well, I'm here. I'm here. So I'm going to stay here. And you can hear me and I'm going through that. Okay. Okay. You can see me via, okay, there it is. Great. Okay. Well, I saw that and I was like, okay, well, there you go. There you go. Okay. Where was I? So self-critical, self-critical things, of course, the self-criticism, it's a thing. When we start to become aware of it, then we know we can dump it because we can know that is an expression of somebody who isn't loving ourselves. We don't want to be in that place because I'm going to wait till I get to the end of this thing. Yikes. Number 2 is being a people pleaser. Ooh, girl, did that hurt or what? Yes, it hurt. Of course it did. Can I tell you, I was the queen of people pleasers, so I know who my people are. But people pleasing is a result of not loving yourselves and looking for external validation by your audience, right? And last time I checked, we all did not have reality shows on HGTV or anything like that where we're getting followed around. We collectively, all of us, me too, we need to stop people pleasing and start to please ourselves. As we do, we are then going to please others. Funny how that works. It works that way. Number 3, here it comes. You guys ready? Run for cover. Perfectionism. This is not from me. This is from a psychologist who said all this, by the way. And perfectionists have a tendency to not love themselves. And they're more likely to be perfectionists because they figure if I get it all perfect, then I'll be worthy of loving myself. Come on. It's time to put the perfectionism away. Isn't it made you exhausted and tired? It sure has me. And when I start seeing that stuff coming up, I'm just like, I am done. I am so done with it. It's boring. It's old. It's wearisome. It's time for us to grow up. And it's time for us to say, you know what? I don't need that. But I'll tell you what, 9/10 of the way, I'm there. Let's just do it. We throw the baby out with the bathwater all the time. Not necessary. Not necessary. Accepting imperfection helps us to accept ourselves because, girlfriend, you and me, we're imperfect. Number 4 is that, and here you go, another one. Anyone need seatbelts? Seatbelts? Anyone? This one will do it. That when we love ourselves, we're less likely to tolerate abuse or mistreatment. And all I can say was I was married 18 years with a lot of that. Okay? And I've had different situations in my life. You have too, of tolerating this kind of stuff. When enough is enough, then you know that you've come to this place of loving yourself enough that you're not going to allow that to happen anymore. Number 5, we become neglectful of our own needs. I know that's right. I told you the story. When you've got a 14-year-old and you're still wearing a nursing bra, you haven't taken care of your own needs. That's a red flag. Red flag. And lest you think self-love is narcissism, I'm going to give you the reasons why it's not. Okay. I just think it's important to really delineate and build a big chasm between the two of them because they're two very, very different things. It's not putting yourself above everyone else and thinking you're better than everyone. But self-love knows that you're flawed, but accepts yourself anyway. And it knows that it means you're going to love others the way you love yourself. Nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I think we're told to do that in the Bible, right? Narcissism, on the other hand, doesn't accept their flaws. Their narcissists don't accept their flaws because they don't think they have them. Anyone know anyone like that? Right? And we've all been around that kind of garbage. Self-love takes responsibility for herself. Narcissists don't. They blame everyone else and everything else. They certainly haven't done wrong. Self-love doesn't prevent you from loving others. You love yourself the same way, whereas narcissists seek validation from everyone and recognition, and they lack empathy for others. I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of lack of empathy lately. So how do you start loving yourself, right? You ready? This is important because if we're going to be healthy, wise women, if we're going to stop being controlled by the limits that we put on ourselves, then we need to step into the place of finally, truly loving ourselves. Because when we can love ourselves, then we can rise above this garbage and start sorting it out. It isn't a magic wand. It's not going to make it all be fixed immediately right away, but it's going to help us with a mindset, with a framework that's going to help us to go to the next level and start having a life that we maybe love a little bit more. But it starts with you, and you got to start loving yourself. Number one, I think this is one of the coolest things, and I just saw this. I think Mel, what's her name, has the 5-second rule book. Mel, I don't remember her last name, but anyway, she has a 5-second rule. One of the other things that she says is to high five yourself and give yourself credit for doing something. And it's also in Tiny Habits. I've seen Mel Robbins. Thank you. It's also in Tiny Habits, which is the BJ Fogg book. Strongly recommend that one. Really good book. And the whole thing is that psychologists tell us that when we are effusive about our own accomplishments, and it's not like we're cock of the walk walking around and going, "Did you see what I did?" Instead, we are in this place of saying, "Yeah, well done. You just finished that task. High five." It's the same thing as kitchen's closed, because we are telling and getting into our brains about this. And that's what, it always boils down to this. We got to get into our brain. If we can get into our brain, we're changing the mindset. If we could change the mindset and the neural connections in there, guess what happens? Things dramatically shift. But it takes a minute, and you have to have patience with yourself and kindness with yourself. Number 2 is to call yourself by name. I have people doing this that I coach. And I tell them, and as a matter of fact, I want you eyeball to eyeball with yourself. Go look at yourself in the mirror. Take off just get in there and say something to yourself and address yourself by name. We know, and the neuroscience is very, very clear about this, that one of the things that we recognize more than anything else is our own name. Our own name. So you address yourself by name. Your brain is paying attention. Every part of your brain's going, whoa, what's the direction here, right? What do I need to do? Call yourself by name. Look yourself in the eye and say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, I deserve it. Whatever it was. What's his name? Smalley. Remember from Saturday Night Live? Gary Smalley or whatever he was. Anyway, just do that. Will you do that? Will you start? If you have a place where it's a stumbling part of your life, it's time for you to get into the weeds a little bit and start getting some clarity on the relationship you have with yourself. You see yourself in the mirror. You look yourself in the eye when you're putting on your mascara, unless you want to poke yourself in the eye. If you wear mascara, that is. But this is something that we need to start doing and watch how things shift. Number 3, do something you love every single day. Jenny crochets and does all kinds of, I don't know, she just made her husband like this gorgeous sweater. I don't know if you saw it Facebook, but I was like, geez, that'd be something I would buy. It would be something I would make, but it was beautiful. Lucy's been making all of those gorgeous, the gorgeous glass that she does. And I have 2 of them in my office that I just love. And, all of this, it's just crazy about how great this is. And Sarah's just saying she's been high-fiving herself in the mirror. There you go. Yep. Yeah, I've actually read about it years ago, and I think that's where I got it from, was from BJ Fogg is where I got it from originally. But this is what neuroscientists who specialize in habit formation tell us. They've done study after study after study. And I don't know about you, but before I get into a book, I don't want to read just some fluffy this, that, and the other law of attraction book. I want some science. Show me some neuroscience. And then I'm there. I'm totally there. And I get it because I do it myself, and it makes all the difference in the world. So does accountability too, by the way. Number 4, make peace with the stuff that you're insecure about. You can. Doesn't mean that you'll be less insecure. It just means that you've made peace with it. Maybe you don't have everything in a row that you want to have in a row. Maybe you have something that you're just saying, yeah, well, but I'm kind of insecure about my whatever, my posture. I'm insecure about my weight. I'm insecure about whatever. I had a woman who told me she was 4'9", insecure about her height. I understand. She said, everybody thinks I'm a child. Well, obviously she wasn't a child, but, and I said, it's your presence is the thing that's going to take control. And, we have an opportunity every time we walk into a room to take command of ourselves, which attracts other people, that brings them in. They're like, I want to know her. It doesn't matter how tall you are or how wide you are or how blonde you are or how brunette you are or anything else. It matters how you perceive yourself and how you bring yourself to the table or to the room. Number 5 is take back your power. Own your voice. Don't spread it around. Don't take your power and spread it around like confetti at a parade. That's a lot of times what we do. We just give it all away as if it had no meaning, no purpose, or no value. And I'm going to say to you this, it does. Take back your power is a way of loving yourself, because you then will stand up for yourself. You will then have a voice in your life and what the direction it's going on in, and you'll stop doing the things that you're not exactly proud of. But it takes power to do that. It takes power to unplug from an argument where it's going to go in circles. It takes power to say, not this time. It takes power to say, I will not participate in this discussion or in this whatever it is that's taking you down. It takes power to do that. And when we do that, we know that loving ourselves is the only way that we're ever going to actually become our most vibrant self. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is what wise women do. I believe it. Do you? I hope that was helpful. I really enjoyed that today. It was great. And I hope tomorrow you're going to be with us full barrel all the way for the bonanza, because giddy up, girlfriends, we're on. I can't wait. savingdinner.com/bonanza to go get your seat for Thursday night and for Friday night. It's going to be full out, full on, amazing. That's all I have to say about that. How else can I serve you? How else can I support you? Just let me know. If you have any questions about anything, always send them into questions for support at savingdinner.com and questions for Leanne on Friday, and I will definitely get into it. Love you. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Check back for new episodes. If you missed the live show, you can always watch the replay. You can find Saving Dinner on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, pinkies up.